Okay, we're live. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, after I pledge, we're going to have a moment of silence for our historian, Dorothy Hunt Ingracia. She was the former president of the Ladies Auxiliary of the Silver Lake Fire Company, the first secretary of the Silver Lake Fire District, first appointed court clerk of the Town of Walk Hill Justice Court, and was appointed historian of the Town of Walk Hill in 1987, and created a museum within the town hall. We also have Vincent A. Syracuse, former science teacher at Chester High School and Goshen Central High School. He also coached high school sports, ref basketball and soccer, and also was a former Town of Walk Hill Golf Club employee for many years. We also, I was found out today, we have James Smith, who was a World War II veteran and participated in the Battle of the Bulge.
Yes.
We also want to recognize the victims of Highland Park, which was the shooting at Illinois 4th of July parade. Let's take a stand and do our pledge. So tonight, earlier in the week or 2 weeks ago, we promoted to our Walk Hill finest to sergeant and one to detective sergeant. This was sworn. We felt we're going to bring them to the town board meeting to recognize them, and they could, take some pictures here at town board. We start today with Town of Walk Hill Police Department Sergeant Warren Pons.
Sorry, the podium is facing the audience. Stand the opposite the way the podium is facing. But thank you, Supervisor and members of the town board and everyone for being here tonight, and especially like to welcome Sergeant Pons' family. So obviously his wife Katrina, sorry, daughter Zara, who did shake my hand tonight. Thank you for that. Rory a little bit. No, I mean, I got a fist bump though. Thank you. His parents, Warren and Ann, and grandparents, Steve and Caroline. So prior to his appointment, Sergeant Pons served as a member of the NYPD for several years. He brought his experience to the town, which was a great benefit to our police department and members of our community. For example, over 1 year, Sergeant Pons served, since he's been in the department, as the part-time evidence officer, assisting Kate Monahan in this rather tedious duty. The role of evidence officer or assistant evidence officer in this case is a very glamorous task. It includes processing tens of thousands of pieces of evidence every single year. Among other things, the evidence includes body fluids, soiled clothing, the clothing of sometimes unfortunately deceased or very seriously injured victims, along with a host of other hazardous substances, including fentanyl. And fentanyl is such a dangerous drug that officers are exposed to on a regular basis that the amount on the tip of a pencil can cause an overdose if inhaled improperly and it enters into the system. if the job doesn't sound glamorous enough, they get to do it in a small windowless room that no one else is allowed into except for them and Lieutenant McLemore and the DC myself, but we basically never go in there because we want the room to be so secure that the contact with the evidence has to be limited. It's a secure environment, but nonetheless, a glamorous job, as I said. During his tenure in this position, Sergeant Pons has performed all of these tasks with a sense of professionalism and pride in being thorough and efficient. Furthermore, Sergeant Pons' sense of volunteerism is readily apparent to me. Warren is always willing, ready, and able to volunteer for any event, including, among others, our first department's Bring Your Child to Work Day, which his family participated in, and our upcoming National Night Out Against Crime. I didn't tell you you're working Tuesday night, did I? You know now. Okay, good. He just volunteered for an upcoming event on Tuesday night. But moreover, coupled with the foregoing, Warren brings a calm demeanor to everything he does, and I'm sure his family is very well aware of this fact. You know, this job of a law enforcement officer includes interacting with citizens regularly in a high-stress environment. It's critically important for us to remain calm, cool, and collective in these situations. It is here that Sergeant Pons has consistently shown himself to maintain a calm demeanor that allows for peaceful conclusions to situations that easily could have been escalated into something worse. I have every confidence that Sergeant Warren's sense of professionalism, commitment, spirit of volunteerism, and demeanor will help him lead the officers under his command towards our collective goal of providing the best police service we can to the citizens we are sworn to protect. Congratulations, Sergeant Pons.
Andy wants to take some pictures.
Probably not of us, probably of them, right?
Yeah.
The kids, maybe?
Fist bump, come on.
No.
Come on.
Just let him.
All right. Nice. Come on. Larry's our resident photographer.
Wherever you can. Wherever you can.
Right here, yeah. That's fine.
God bless, Sergeant. Great support. Thank
Mhm. Congratulations.
I kept some of mine. Can't knock that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sergeant Jeremy Warner is not here today, but he was promoted to detective sergeant. Which he's been doing the work. And now he's actually the detective sergeant. And, you know, anytime you make promotions, you know, everyone knows the life of a police officer, you know, especially nowadays, it's a lot different than it was 3 years ago. So it's always good to promote people and let their family come and show their support, which I think is great. Next, as everyone knows, we had a situation in town and we had to think fast and be quick. And we were able to, thank you. We were able to hire a retiree who was willing to come back, work for the town, and has done a tremendous job. She was hired on July 11th. And I just want to take a moment to introduce our new Town of Walk Hill Deputy Controller, Sherry Gross. She has done a phenomenal job since she's got here, and she came in here running from day one. She's been running, she hasn't stopped. And the knowledge, it's great. So going in the right direction. With that, we'll come up to Tom. Tom Nosworth, for a historic moment in the town of Walk Hill.
Hi, everybody, here and on Zoom. I'm Tom Nosworthy, second assistant town historian. And tonight, first and foremost, is a remembrance of Dottie Hunt Ingracia, our town historian. Town historian since 1987, appointed by Supervisor Dennis Cosgrove for 35 years. She made many accomplishments in the town. Among them, wrote a picture history booklet of the town of Walk Hill, interviewed several former one-room schoolhouse teachers, of which there were 19 one-room school districts in the town. Most of those buildings still exist, usually as residences. She implemented the display of the New York State gold and blue historical marker, which you may all recognize. That looks like this. And on Zoom, do we get a shot of Zoom? I don't know if that works. Which way? Oh, the camera. Okay, good idea. Thanks, Neil. So she did almost 20 of those. She wrote copious, mark the word copious with you, thank you notes for donors of historical information and artifacts. I was going to say something else regarding history, but ironically, just today, this afternoon, June Vanderschaft, one of our volunteer assistant historians, along with Gwen, the assistant historian, discovered a poem that Dottie wrote a number of years ago. And I think it's quite good. Darlene, if you could pass out copies to the town board and the table. And then here's a bunch of copies to the public. It looks like it's long, but I got it in big print so I could see it better. This article apparently was written in 1971 and from Circleville. There is no byline name for the person who introduced the poem. Here comes the judge's secretary. You may remember Rowan and Martin. Here come the judge. That may be partly where that came from. One day while on and this is the guy doing the introduction. One day while on my temporary tour of duty at the Walk Hill Town Hall on Route 211 Middletown, it occurred to me that many of you people have not had the chance to meet or know people that have been connected with town government positions. Since most people do not go to town hall for any other reason than to gripe, part with money, or otherwise strained circumstances, they do not get to know the people who work in the official capacity. One day while down there, I was handed a poem through the courtroom door to read, and now may I introduce to you the author, Secretary to Judges Harold Holtz and James McMahon, Mrs. Frank Dottie Nutt Ingracia, who resides with her husband, daughter, and 2 sons in the Silver Lake area. A devoted wife and mother, she manages to find time to be secretary or treasurer of other organizations who need her. She is a woman that other women like, one that men like, and above all, respect. The judges need her, and she is generally brightens the day for all who come in contact with her. Her poem is worth 1,000 words, and I think I'd like to share it with you. Through the courtroom door, Dorothy H. Nutt Ingracia. Wondering what today will unfold, we enter our court's abode, never knowing whereof the type cases, or if they be from faraway places. Some days we're barely in the door, then problems we hear by the score. The first defendant in my plea, but judge, I didn't know I speed. And next a trucker on an overload, now wishes he'd taken the other road. Perhaps arrested as an igniter of fires or someone who has stolen others' attire. The court may next hear a case unflushed, a questionable maiden who's been rushed. I wonder what that means. Defendants adjudged are committed to jail. Others awaiting trials are released on bail. Then comes a drunk that left a bar and crashed into another's car. Do we hear yet another plea? He had the gun. It wasn't me. They pay their fines. Some exit sour. And on the day goes, hour by hour. Next may come in a landlord to rid his premises of a woman and a kid. Or two neighbors, each claiming the same. He shouted at me an obscene name. Perchance a dealer comes to sue a resident for a bill long due. Or comes a wife to charge her spouse. Again, he locked her out of the house. Perhaps a tradesman's with the same old plea. Judge, please collect these bounced checks for me. Dogs barking and howling throughout the night could be another woman's sleepless plight. Traffic tickets, phones ringing, then through the door, a state trooper walks with just one more. A hitchhiker with his tale of woe. So far to travel with little dough. The saddest cases, which many we see concern today's youth, are leaders to be. Some rob, some mug, and some are high on dope. Parents wonder if there's left any hope. The court sees all the phases of complicated life with all the heartbreak, sadness, and many a strife. We leave court today recalling the whirlpool of sorrow and pray for a better world tomorrow and a happier tomorrow. So I just thought that was pretty amazing. It's stuff that she did, and I think it probably really reflects some of the real things that happened in some of those courts. The only other thing I'd like to add is, we do have a historical program once a month on Saturdays. The next one is August 13th, and the topic will be emergency preparedness of using the defibrillator, which will be given by our one and only Joe Andre, our Office of Emergency Management Coordinator. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom. Next, we have our public participation. We'll start with the audience. For agenda items only. The recognition. Anyone in the audience? Anyone on Zoom? Okay. Correspondence, do we have any? Thank you. We have no resolutions tonight. Tonight we'll have the councilman. We'll start with Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Supervisor. You kind of threw me off base there, but that works. Usually I'm last, Ward 4. Save the best for last. All right, so in the building department for the month of June, they issued 174 permits. The certificates of completion and occupancy were 104. Total fees collected $81,174. They addressed 208 complaints and carried out 1,079 inspections. So great job by that department. Water and sewer, as always, there were several leaks throughout the town. Some were actually damage caused by contractors who were doing the gas construction. There was a large water main break on July 4th. The department worked very long hours to try and get that repaired on the holiday weekend. 2 service leaks at residential properties. Good news is they're on the resident side, so therefore outside contractors take care of those work at no cost to the town. Bad for the residents, but no cost to the town. There was a leak in a water line, again, at the wastewater treatment plant, but it was able to be repaired with minimal downtime for the treatment process. And as always, the town would like to thank the residents for their understanding while we're doing these repairs. The department has assisted the highway crews with prepping for paving with manhole covers and water valves and the like. And if you haven't noticed, we haven't really had any rain. I think we moved to Arizona. I'm not really sure. But this is a problem for people that rely on groundwater for water supply. If it's not raining, you're not recharging the groundwater. And if you keep pumping it out, eventually, right, you're going to lower the table and wells go dry and so forth. And you have to go in to drill deeper to get the water. So at this point, we're not in a situation where we have to issue any water restrictions, which is good. But if you could use a little common sense, you don't really need to water your grass. It can look like shredded wheat. And when it rains in August or September, it'll turn green again. That's what it does. It goes dormant. So there's no need for that. And people don't really realize that, groundwater is not like, they think it's like a river underground that you put your well in, but it's not. It's just the spaces between the soil, the pore spaces that have water in them, or the fractures in the rock. So there's actually very little water, and it's very difficult to remove from the ground, and it flows very slow. So again, if you could conserve any water, it would be a good thing. Let's see. On a positive note, this dry weather has allowed all the crews to get into the sewer mains for mowing and maintenance and trimming. So there's easier access should we need it, because the swampy areas are now dried out. And as always, they do their routine maintenance at the wastewater plant and the water treatment plant on 365-day basis. So those guys do a great job. Thank you, and gals, to them. In the accounting department, so there's a lot of things that have happened in the 2 weeks since Cheryl has been here. So just a quick up-to-date process, the sewer invoicing, checks, runs, and scans. July receipts entered into Excel. The transmitters were recorded and applied to accounts. The warrants, 2 warrants were created with a backlog of invoices. The working on revenue and expense reports, direct vouchering, that's been actually requiring additional time, and it's at a premium. So she's asking that the department heads create POs prior to purchases. Printed check runs from several warrants, met with O'Connor Davies to ascertain items needed to complete the audit, completed funds of transfers, learning Edmund software, began the budgeting process for 2023, opened the program, and also contacted Don Paris. If you haven't heard, that's the outside consultant that we've actually contracted with to do extra work here to help clean up and complete the audit from 2022. So for comments, really all I would like to do is congratulate Cheryl, our deputy controller. We also hired Lucrenzia Anderson as our controller, although she won't be able to start for about a month. But both of those individuals come with a lot of municipal experience and a lot of background. So I think they're going to be huge assets to the town. And as we mentioned earlier, Warren Pons was promoted to sergeant. So congratulations to him. And Jeremy Warner was detective sergeant. And I would just like to also wish well wishes to our controller who moved on to greener pastures, took another position closer to home. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Meyer.
Thank you. I would do want to also congratulate Sergeant Pons and Sergeant Warner on their promotions, well deserved. And we look forward to you guys seeing what you guys can do in the future. It's a great opportunity. I want to mention the Friendly Visitor Program. As always, we are looking for volunteers. We service a lot of our seniors in this community through the Friendly Visitor Program. This is a great program to help neighbors, especially now in the summertime as the heat is blaring, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But we do need volunteers. We need volunteers to check in on seniors. We need volunteers to get food for seniors. Maybe drive them to doctor's appointments, whatever it is, even if it's just a phone call to check in on them. We have volunteer trainings on Tuesday, or JFS has volunteer trainings Tuesday, August 9th at 5:30 p.m. And then they have one on Thursday, August 25th at 10 a.m. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can give the town clerk, Luisa Ingrassi, a call, myself a call, or reach out to JFS. The number's on the website, and they can set you up for the training. So we want to please, if you have some time, it doesn't have to be a lot of time. If you, even it's just an hour a week or an hour a month, please volunteer and go through the training. We could certainly use all the volunteers we can get. With that being said, the reason why I mentioned the checking on a senior, I received a phone call this past week from a child of one of my neighbors. The neighbor was a senior, and it turns out he wasn't responsive to any of his kids' phone calls. And I went next door and I knocked on the door and I opened the door, and he had fallen and he wasn't able to get up. And so we called with the quick phone call. We were able to get the police there. I want to thank Officer Hudson for his quick response to the scene, as well as an ambulance. He had been on the floor for 2 days. So I'm going to say if you have a neighbor that lives alone, that's a senior, check on them, knock on the door, make sure they're okay. It's important that we check on our neighbors and that we keep them safe and that we make sure that they have all their needs. Unfortunately, what happened is he turned off the air conditioning in the house, and overnight the house got really, really hot. And it was like 80 degrees when we walked into the house. So, please, if you can volunteer for programs like this, or even just checking on your neighbors, please do that. It's very hot this summer and you don't know what your neighbors are going through. So if you haven't seen them in a few days, just knock on the door and make sure they're well, especially if they're elderly or disabled. I also want to thank the Vet to Vet program. So I had a senior and a veteran reach out to me. He was looking to move and he didn't have any help to help him move. I contacted the Vet to Vet program and we were able to get volunteers to help him move. And we were able to move him from the town of Walk Hill, his home in the town of Walk Hill, over to senior housing. It was a great day. And with everybody's help, we were able to do it. So I want to thank all the guys in the Vet to Vet program who came out and helped us that day. It was a really nice day and we were able to do it and very quickly with all the hands we had. Finally, I want to wish Dolores Massey a happy birthday and wish everybody a happy and enjoyable summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ellington.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'll start with the police committee report. Currently, our staffing is at 47 sworn full-time staff. We have been actively recruiting applicants and will be reporting back on the names of those hired who will be entering the police academy this month, this coming month in August, the end of August, actually. Our arrest record to date is up 4.25%, 514 for 2022 versus 493 for 2021. Surprisingly, we did analysis this week, and although our police activities and arrest records have risen this year, our complaints, personnel complaints, have actually been reduced. So our guys are doing a great job, and it shows. Our Police Community Council, the next regularly scheduled meeting will be at 7 p.m. on Thursday, August 4th at the Community Center on West Warren Drive. During this July 7th meeting, the Community Council recognized Sergeant Patrick Marcio by awarding him with the Officer of the Year Award. Sergeant Marcio was recognized for, among other things, his investigation of the burglary of an ATM on Shutt Road, resulting in the arrest of the suspect. From our Police Youth Coalition, the next meeting will be 7 p.m. on Tuesday, August 16th at the Community Center. On August 23rd, members of the Police Youth Coalition, along with officers and members of the Community Council, will attend a Renegades game. It's our hope that the Renegades the chief wants me to read this. Really? It's our hope that the Renegades, in parentheses, a New York Yankees minor league team, will perform better than the Major League Yankees did during their recent Subway Series against the New York Mets.
It's true. We do hope that. We want to see the Yankees win that night.
Nice thought there, Chief. National Night Out Against Crime. We look forward to many joining us during the next Tuesday's annual event that will be held between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. at the Town of Walk Hill Little League Field. We thank all those who will participate in the event. We also thank all of the sponsors of the event, including Ecobec, formerly Revere Smelting and Refining, McDonald's, Senator James Skoufis, Dunkin' Donuts, Goose Down Communications, Orange and Rockland Utilities, Sam's Club, Access Heating and Cooling, Chris Sorry for that interruption. Okay, so we promoted Detective Sergeant Jeremy Warner. Jeremy is an example of the career path we aim to have our officers pursue. After his appointment to the department, Sergeant Warner spent several years on patrol before volunteering, then being selected for an assignment to the Orange County Drug Task Force. During his time there, he gained valuable investigative experience, which he utilized when he returned to patrol in the town, leading to his promotion to detective. Subsequently, he was promoted to sergeant, where again, utilizing his vast investigative experience, he led most active patrol squads in the department. Also, as you saw tonight, and it's always great to see our officers get promoted, and really great to see their family come out and support them and appreciate everything that they do for us. So Sergeant Warner Pons, Warren is another example of the career path we like to see. Warren came to the department after several years as a police officer with the NYPD. This experience allowed him to immediately join our ranks without having to attend the police academy. His fine work as a patrol officer led to his promotion to sergeant. Congratulations to both. From our Parks Department, our dog park fencing is complete. Items for dog park have been ordered. We need to final grade site and stone where needed, and then mulch and install benches and dog park items where they come in, along with the shade structure. And we're hoping to have that completed by early fall this year. Our golf course siding project is complete. The building looks great. And we're finishing adding 350 yards of playground safety servicing as needed to 6 of our parks in the town this week. We've been trimming all the trees and fence lines in all the parks as needed. Our summer camp is half over. It's been very well attended so far, along with very busy weekend rentals and park use at Circleville Park. Our summer program still continues. We have another 4 weeks, another 4 sessions rather. So anyone interested and looking for a place to put their kid for the rest of the summer, if there's still opportunities there. The sessions run for 2 weeks. If you're interested, you can call 845-342-8833 for more information, and everything is on site as well on the website. Highway has completed paving at Stevens Avenue Park for a new pickleball court and parking area. We'll be meeting with the contractor soon for acrylic surface and coating and court layouts. Last but not least, there's a free concert this Sunday, August 6th at Circleville Park from 6:30 to 8:30. The Mannequin Brothers, bring your lawn chairs, your cowboy boots, your cowboy hats, and it's all free, and come enjoy it. Councilman Coyne is not here tonight, so I will read his assessor's report. The Assessors Department is preparing data to submit for school tax bill season in September and October to our 5 school districts. Exemptions of achieving and updating is underway. Archiving and updating is on the way. Data collection was aimed to start in July, but has been postponed to start in August to inspect properties due to staffing issues. Star credit checks will be sent out in the months of August and September by the New York State Department of Tax and Finance. If you are a new homeowner, you must also register with the New York State to receive the STAR check. You can contact the State Department of STAR purposes at 518-457-2036. If you have any questions on calculations, chargebacks, estimates, inspections, assessed values, or exceptions, please contact the assessor's office at 845-692-7810. As far as our comments, I think our 4th of July celebration this past 4th of July was a great one. Great job with the fireworks and the music, and it was well attended, and everyone got there safe. Everyone went home safe, which was good. The last thing is that our grass cutting for delinquent property program is still ongoing. So if anyone has an issue with a neighbor or house that the grass is overgrown, it's been delinquent, not being taken care of, you can call the building department and they'll put it on the list. And what we do is we go out and cut that lawn, and we charge a fee to the taxes of the homeowner there. Last but not least, keep in mind, the kids are out playing all day, and just be careful while you're driving through our roads and streets. Thank you. Oh, one last thought. Congratulations to our new deputy controller and oncoming controller, and best of luck to Tony Tracy on her new venture and her new job. Thank you.
Thank you. First, I'm gonna start my comments with two statements. It is not my practice to comment on town personnel issues. However, certain media reports and other published comments related to the town's accounting department required a response. With respect to the former town controller, it has been suggested that her resignation is somehow related to the recent risk assessment audit performed by the New York State Controller's Office. This is simply not the case. In the interest of fairness and accuracy, it must be noted that the former controller approached me directly in mid-June and informed me that she had been offered a new position and intended to resign from the town of Walk Hill. Discussions then took place between us to determine whether there was any possibility that she might stay with the town. As it turns out, the former town controller accepted a new position and tendered her former resignation. The town controller's stated intentions to resign came well before the town was made aware that the New York State Controller's Office was going to do a risk assessment audit. The two events are unrelated. Once the former controller resignation was confirmed, the town board moved swiftly to fill the position of both controller and deputy controller. Job listings were posted, interviews were conducted, and the two positions have already been filled with individuals who possess substantial municipal accounting experience. Cheryl Gross has been hired as a deputy controller and began work on July 11th, 2022. She has proven to be a real asset to the town and is doing an excellent job. In addition, Lucretia Anderson has been hired as the new town controller. Ms. Anderson comes to us with over 10 years of experience in municipal accounting. She is expected to start after Labor Day. Finally, town has contracted with Daniel Paris to provide accounting services on an as-needed basis. Mr. Paris also has a great deal of municipal accounting experience. All three of these actions by the town board was adopted by a 4-0 vote. It is also likely that the town will hire a senior account clerk in the near future. With respect to the risk assessment audit, the town welcomes and fully cooperates with the State Controller's Office and staff at all times. All requested information was provided immediately upon request. The town board looks forward to receive the findings and recommendations that will be issued in conjunction with this risk assessment audit. Once received, we will review the report with our professional consultant and take the necessary step to implement all suggestions to improve the accounting department and overall town operations. Thank you. Next, I'll make a statement regarding Orange County Fair that's going on. With regard to the attraction at the Orange County Fair involving monkeys riding on the backs of dogs, the town condemns this practice in its entirety. We urge the operator of the fair to discontinue this attraction and any other practice that results in the mistreatment of animals. the town will always support the safe, proper, and humane treatment of animals and will continue to do so. Thank you. Okay, got that out the way. So couple of comments, a couple of things that are going on in the town. On Saturday, in this room from 9 to 11, we will have coffee with the supervisor. Please come. I've always said that, in a big room like this, people talking don't really feel comfortable. Maybe one-on-one talking with the supervisor, they'll feel more comfortable. So we'll have coffee and once it's 9 to 11. We have Night Out Against Crime on August 2nd. On August 9th, myself, I will be reading a book to the Girl Scouts in the Galleria Mall. The book is still a secret. We don't know what we're going to read, but it's a secret. At least that's what I'm being told by the Girl Scouts. Congratulations to the two sergeants, Sergeant Pons and Detective Sergeant Jeremy Warner. And also, just want to add, one of the things that was started by the town controller prior to her resignation was a smart safe. So we installed a smart safe in our accounting department that's going to deal with any type of cash that the town collects will be deposited. It's like an ATM machine in the accounting department. So that I just wanted to add that. If anyone's interested, next week, Poker Face, which is a show on the NBC and Peacock channel streaming service, they're filming Poker Face at the Orange County Fairgrounds. They were looking for extra. They were looking for 200 to 300. So I don't know if it's been all over social media. I guess they got everybody. Then the following week, and this is still open, if anyone has kids who are interested, they're looking for kids 9 to 17, and they're going to be filming at the castle. If anyone more information, we're going to place it on our website. What do you need to do if anyone has any kids, grandkids who are talented, or you want them to get into the business? This might be a start. And don't forget, on September 17, we're having a big birthday in conjunction with the Galleria. We're going to have a parade that's going to start at Orange County Trust, work its way up Winning Way, and we're going to then have a festival. Right now, we're about to have about 5 or 6 food trucks, vendors, performance. I'm looking for people to have floats. I'm trying to convince my town board and some employees to dress up like they did 25 years ago. I might have an Uncle Sam, someone dressing up as Uncle Sam, So I'm hoping people want to get dressed up. I can do Uncle Sam. Nah, too short. So it's going to be a good event. If anyone has any more food trucks, vendors, please reach out to my office, reach out to Darlene or Larry, who will help put it together. What else? That being said, I want to move forward. We're at the end of the day, I believe everyone on this and everyone who sits out there wants what is best for this town. It's not about individuals. It's what's best for this town. And we need to move forward. And that's what we're doing. We're going to move forward and make accounting department, every other department in this town. We have great employees. Our employees are fantastic. They work hard. And we're going to move forward. That being said, we're open it to public participation. Oh, I'm sorry. That's because they won. I'm sorry about that, Louisa.
That's okay.
You're up.
That's okay. Thank you to everyone for the condolences on the loss of Dottie. She certainly will be missed by all of us. She was a great lady. And we certainly have missed seeing her at Town Hall. And we'll continue to think about her when we walk by that room of all that stuff. And that's what I call it, stuff. I want to welcome Kimberly, who recently joined the building department. I met her in the hallway the other day. I hadn't really met her. And she said she knew me because I was on her baby's birth certificate. So that was a good feeling. She seems to be fitting right in down there and seems to like us. And of course, welcome to Cheryl, who I've had some close dealings with in the last week or so. And I always do my homework, and I'm a detective in a former life. And she certainly has a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge coming to us. And I hope that the new comptroller will do as well as I think Cheryl's going to do. The Backpacks for Hope is time again. That's the Boys and Girls Club. They do it every year where they collect school supplies for kids that sometimes just don't have enough. This year, I understand from one of my bees at the camp that there is a need for supplies for the older kids. They seem to do well with the glue and the scissors and the crayons and stuff, but there seems to be a need for supplies for middle school and high schoolers. So I think that's more of notebooks and binders and stuff like that. So if you have a few extra bucks and you want to drop it off at here at Town Hall, we would certainly appreciate that. For my hunting friends, the sporting licenses go on sale Monday, August 1st. And we are 8 to 4 now for summer. And we do accept credit cards. So if you want to come in and get your hunting or fishing license, they are available on August 1st. And there's just been so much negativity here lately, and it's just even within my own self. And I have decided that I am going to move forward, and I hope everybody else will. So we don't usually talk about the people that work in this building. We talk about the police who do an awesome job for us, and we talk about the DPW who do an awesome job for us, and the water department. But we have some folks in Building A and Building B that nobody ever really talks about. Like Dottie's poem said, you don't really talk about them until you need them. So I'm going to start going counterclockwise, I think. And I'm starting at the beginning of the alphabet, and I'm starting with the accounting department. So I want to wish Tony all the best in her new endeavor. And I would like to welcome Cheryl to us. And I'd just like to tell you about the two ladies who have worked in our accounting department. Sarah's been with us for 17 years. I know she doesn't look that old. She's taken on a lot of new responsibilities with some short staffing in there. She and her husband have two amazing sport addicted kids. Her daughter actually plays football for the other Wallkill, which is pretty cool. She's gone through a physical transformation in herself over the last 18 months or so. And I think that's a testament to how hard she works for us. And then there's Brandy. Her and I sing that song at least once a week because Brandy is on Sirius 70s at least once a day. So Brandy and I sing that song once a week. She is involved as a volunteer. She right now is the president of the New Hampton Volunteer Fire Company Ladies Auxiliary. She's a member of the Orange County Volunteer Firemen's Ladies Auxiliary, and they have a huge anniversary coming up, I believe, next October. They'll be celebrating that. She and her husband is a first responder, and she has two crazy kids too. One likes to ride horses, and the other one is either bowling or playing video games. So I consider myself lucky to work here, and those ladies are lucky. We're lucky that we have those ladies, and I just think it's important. So every month, and I'll be heading to the next office around the building. I just think that we just have to put a smile on and just start. We are living the dream here, people, whether we know it or not. We are living the dream. We have a beautiful place to work. We have friendly people that come to see us. We have friendly coworkers. We have people that care about this town who come here every day. We have an awesome police department. We have a DPW that is second to none in Orange County. I don't care what anybody says, and I may be partial, but they are second to none, those folks. We have a lady who cleans this building every day after she cleans the park and after she goes down to the PD, who is an amazing person who we don't get to see that often. We just have to start living the dream here and just be happy with what we have and get rid of just nasty stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief?
Can I have Lou's time tonight? He's not here. Okay, I'll be brief then. So there's a new national crisis hotline. It's 988. It's just been rolled out. It's supposed to serve as a venue, for lack of a better term, for people who need a crisis. So 911 is for emergencies of all types, police, fire, EMS. Whereas 988 is a crisis center for people in need of emergency counseling, drug abuse, things like that. It's just been rolled out. We don't really have any reviews yet, but it's out there and we're looking forward to a great success. Okay. 988 has it?
Orange County, the 988
Okay.
goes to the 311
Okay,
hotline.
great.
So
So it's working here, good.
they've been up and running now for, I would say, over a year.
Excellent.
Right? And so they are fully staffed and they're ready to go.
Wonderful. It's good
Just
news. So
give you
I'm glad the county is
better-
participating in that endeavor. On June 28th, our department participated in an active shooter drill at On My Way Daycare Center on Riverside Drive. Sergeant Warner was actually the one who ran that operation. It was a great drill. The staff truly appreciated it, and we're going to be doing more in the school district. You know, Uvalde shooting in Texas has not had a report released yet from the Department of Justice, but the legislators in Texas have released a preliminary report, and we've already perused that report, and now we're in the process of taking it apart, and we're going to offer suggested enhancements to all 6 schools that we cover in our town before school starts. So we've already expressed this to the superintendents of both the school districts, and we're looking forward to implementing some tweaks maybe that'll provide for further safety of the children in our school districts. Fraud is becoming more and more sophisticated. I have to stress that, underscore that, it's becoming more and more sophisticated. The fraud that we're seeing now is not the past spam emails where someone would send out a large scale email stating they're a Saudi Arabian prince and they've inherited $500 million and they want to share the loot with you, right? That's not what we're seeing now. I personally witness cases on a regular basis coming into our department. I personally have been targeted by these scammers, and I'll give you an example. So my great niece recently had a birthday, her 4th birthday party, and there was chatter on social media about it. I received an email from someone who purported to be my brother-in-law because he had the same first initial and same last name, but instead of being him at yahoo.com, he still uses Yahoo, it was him at Comcast. And it talked about a niece, not my great niece's birthday party, but a niece's birthday party. And he was in need of money because his credit card got declined. He was trying to solicit $100 from me for the birthday party. This is very sophisticated. These scammers are backed by Russia and China. These are criminal organizations that are backed by nation states in our country, in the world, that are trying to undermine the financial security of our country. We get alerts on a regular basis. These scammers are out there. Please double check any emails you receive that are requesting money, even if it's from someone you know or a family member. Follow up, make sure it's a legitimate source, because we're seeing more and more of this and they're getting much more sophisticated. And then lastly, and I gave Eric the list of thanks for the National Night Out Against Crime. Thank you, Eric, for mentioning those. But Sal Lucido here tonight from the Community Council and the Rotary, and the Rotary does a great job every year cooking 3,000 or 4,000 hamburgers and hot dogs all night. They're over those grills. They have an assembly line set up out there. There's never a wait. The food is always well prepared. And thank you, Sal, for you and the Rotary's volunteerism every year. We look forward to another great event this year, and it's not going to rain. Thank you.
Just to extend on the fraud that's going on, very quickly for those that are out there and listening, some clues when you get an email that you don't recognize and you don't recognize the address, right? That's a first hint. But if you do open these emails saying that your account is going to be canceled, you have to respond to this. That's a high level clue when they're phishing for a reaction. So their reaction, they're introducing an action from you, and they usually introduce it by fear. And the fear is introduced by they're either going to cancel your account, close your account, or you're going to lose access to something. That is a phishing technique that they use. They get a great response from it because people always say, oh, no, I can't have that. But when you read something like that, take your time, stop, and actually look at it again and say, if I don't respond, nothing's going to happen. So that's one of the clues there, and one of the red flags when you see something and they're introducing a reaction, a fear factor in there for you. The other thing is, of course, what the chief touched on is they talk to you like they know you. They talk to you and they mention family members, or they mention something that's very familiar to you, whether it's a show that you're watching or something else like that. So those are things that the key there is not to respond to any of that. Delete it, get rid of it. And then for those of you that are familiar with it, if you look at the addresses of these things, where they're from, it's usually tells you that, you don't recognize the address. It looks somewhat skewed. That's another hint. And the other thing is look for, if there is a sentence, if there's a paragraph, look for misspelling. Look for words that don't belong in the sentence, and that's another hint. And we track those things very closely and watch it, but you have to do your due diligence when you read these things. When in doubt, just delete it.
I want to add two things to what the chief said and what Mr. Valentin said. The IRS and Social Security Administration will not call you. They will not email you. If they want to get in touch with you, they will send you a letter in the mail. Okay, that is the way that they correspond. So if you receive an email or you receive a phone call from the IRS or Social Security Administration, it is likely not them. Okay, so you should delete those as well or hang up the phone call. And I think the chief will back me up on that, because that scam goes on all the time and people fall for it all the time. So they will only send you a letter via snail mail. That's it. That's the only way they're going to get in touch with you. The other thing I want to bring up is the chief mentioned the 988 hotline. The 988 hotline was modeled after the 311 hotline in Orange County. The 311 hotline in Orange County is administered by the Mental Health Association of Orange County, and they've been running it for over a year. It's a great program. They're a not-for-profit in the county, and they've received grants from the county to put this forward and do this program, and they're housed in the 911 center with 911. So they're right next to the 911 center. So if you call 311 because you think it's a crisis and they determine that it's a more emergent where they need to send somebody, they can transfer you over to 911, and 911 can do the same thing. They can transfer you over to 311 now. So they do have that ability to be able to do that. So a lot of good things happening in Orange County, which I think are great, that everybody should know about. And, if you feel like you want to contribute in some way, you check out the Mental Health Association website. It's a great website, and there's a lot of resources on there for people. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with public participation. First time we start in the audience. Now we'll start on Zoom. Anyone on Zoom?
No.
Anyone? Public? Anyone public? Anyone on Zoom? That being said, I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Have a good night. Thanks for coming out.